Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I'm going to be checking out Aerith's new Rebirth Crossover banner. We're going to take a look at the stamp cards, how they changed because of the Hellhound costume in there on the second page. I'm going to take a look at the weapon, the costume, just basically give you guys my overall thoughts on this banner itself. And yeah, that being said, let's get straight into it. Alright, so jumping over to the crossover, I'm going to show you guys the animation. So the animation for this is really cool. It's a support weapon. It brings up the flowers from the ground. We also have Barret's ultimate weapon featured on here, which is a brand new weapon missing score, which gives physical and magic resistance 50% for 15 seconds. So basically every month of the year we're getting a new ultimate weapon. Most of the time we're probably going to have to pity it at 90k. The question is how much team time is Barret really going to get? That's my question with him, so I'll go over here. We'll take a quick look at Barret's weapon. Now, it's something that I would love to get. I love Barret as a character. I always have. I love his kind of brash personality. He's straightforward. He's honest. He's got a good heart, and I would love to use him more. Unfortunately, there is no way in hell that I'm going to be able to pity this weapon this month, guys. Realistically, if I wanted to be in a good position for the 1.5 year anniversary, right? You want to go into an anniversary with 80 to 100k, right? The 1.5 is probably going to be just 2 banners, not like the 1 year where you probably want to go in with more 120 to 130k, right? So I'm at 27 right now. So I'm not even close to that. Even if I save for all of February, I'd still probably only be at 60 or 70k, right? So, and then with this possibly being, with Barret's crossover costume coming out on February 12th and his weapon, which I'm guessing is going to be really good, right? Because they're going to give Barret a lot of playtime in the next 6 to 8 weeks because they really want to sell this weapon. So I'm guessing his banner is going to be really good. The costume is super sick. These costumes were not designed by the Applebot team. They were designed by the team who made Rebirth, right? So, like I was saying in a previous video, these are the cream of the crop on costumes, and I seriously wonder if Barret will ever get a better costume than this one. Of course, his sailor costume will always be iconic. It's always an absolute classic, but in terms of just raw epicness, I really wonder if he will ever get something as cool as this. So I would love to go for it, but of course that's going to put me in a horrible position for the 1.5 year anniversary. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind, that we have a barrage of limited banners over the next 8 weeks that is going to make choosing what we pull on very complicated. So for me, even though this is super good, and I think this is going to be very helpful in certain boss fights, there's no way I can pity this, so it is what it is. Like I said, with most of these ultimate weapons, I do not recommend going for the pity. However, for characters like Aerith, maybe Tifa, because she's such an all-around DPS in the game, especially with her New Year's costume. And then, yeah, I think Tifa and Aerith are probably the most must-haves of the ultimate weapons. They're already past. Thank the frickin' gods for that, right? But now we just have... Now we're going to have some other characters. So Cloud is an ultimate weapon that I absolutely want to have. I'm guessing he won't drop until the 2 year anniversary, so we'll just have to see. However, let's jump back over to the banner and let's check out these costumes. So let's check out the costume first. I'm going to hide this and we're going to take a look at this. This is her dress from Rebirth when she sings that song, which was interesting that they actually hired a different actress to sing that. It wasn't actually the voice actress of Aerith that sang that song. So she did do a good job. It was the girl who sang that one song from The Greatest Showman. I can't remember her name. Something Allred. I can't remember if that's her name in the show or her name in real life. But this is an absolutely stunning costume for Aerith, guys. I absolutely love it, and I really, really wish that I could pull for it, literally just for the costume, because I'm not going to lie, I'm not really a fan of the weapon. But the costume itself is really beautiful, and I think they know that people would pull for this costume regardless of the weapon, and so they didn't need to make this weapon exceptional, which in my opinion, it's not. So, other than that, guys, 10 10 out of 10. I mean, Aerith is going to rock so many. She has so many good costumes in the game. You know, if I could have it my way, I would totally pull for this. But the thing is, like I was just saying, Aerith does have a lot of really great costumes in the game. Barret, on the other hand, does not really. So I would love to get him something other than the Electro armor, which is basically all that I run on him. So yeah, for me, 10 out of 10, aesthetically at least on the costume. Now let's go over to the actual stats on this. All right, so we have a new R ability on a costume. We've seen this on weapons in guild metal weapons, right? But now we have ATB boost on a costume. It's gonna be plus 10 points, right? So it is going to give her an extra 2.5 ATB at the beginning of the battle. So nothing crazy. I feel like this could have been 15 for the plus 3. There's probably going to be some battles where having that early buff is going to be pretty impactful. But it's not going to be something that we're going to need all the time, right? So this is just something that affects you just at the beginning of the battle, and that's it. And unless you actually need that extra 2.5 ATB, it's essentially a useless R ability, right? So first one can be good when you want it. It's amazing, but not going to be, you know, needed very often. Probably we'll see it soon come back, but there are ways around this. Like I said, guild metal weapons can get you around this. You'll have to drop a sub weapon slot. So that's what's nice about this, is that it allows you to keep all 3 of your sub weapon slots. But other than that, you know, it's okay. It's okay. Now, Soothing Song. All right. Buff debuff effect duration plus 40% and healing potency plus 10%. All right. So let's go take a look at some of Aerith's other costumes really quick, guys. And let's make a couple comparisons here just to see between them. All right. So I'm going to go to Aerith. All right. And let's see. So we have the Bahamut's protection. This is healing potency 10%, physical magic defense 20%. All right, so that one's buff debuff duration 40% and healing potency 10%, right? But this one right here is far more impactful than the ATB boost, right? Now let's check out her New Year's costume. Okay, so let's go to this one. All right, New Year's protection. This one's HP plus 10%, healing potency plus 20%. So I do like the buff debuff duration on the costume. I do think that the costume is better than the weapon. All right, let's look at the Terra garb, right? This is 15 magic defense, physical magic defense 15%, and buff debuff effect duration plus, right? So this is the Arcanum version, so it's 60%, but you lose the 10% healing potency as well. So Aerith does have a lot of options, guys, when it comes to costumes. Here we have boost heal, right? 15% on the Comrade gown, right? And then the second one is buff debuff duration plus. So this is 60%. So this is actually, you know, with both of these R abilities, it's actually better than the secondary R ability on the new costume, but you don't get the ATB boost at the beginning of the fight. So there are many ways around not having this costume, guys. A lot of different ways around it. So in my opinion, it's absolutely not a must-have. I think that the real appeal of this costume is truly the aesthetics of it. You know, it's her costume from Rebirth and, you know, during the Loveless part of it, and that is just super, you know, was a super cool moment in the game, and I think that's what's really appealing to most of the people here. But it is nice to see that it's not something that's absolutely must-have. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the weapon, all right? So here we have the, I'm not even going to pronounce it, the Gambanteinn or whatever it is, right? It has a magic attack 299, healing 257, so pretty high healing stat right here. It is a healing weapon, right? Now, magic heal is cast 50% of healing potency all allies. Also, physical attack is increased. Now, I was pretty surprised to see this, to be honest, that this is low to mid at OB1. I thought for sure this was going to be mid to high. Because essentially, guys, right, and we'll come back to this. I'm going to take it to OB6, right? It's mid to high at OB6, right? But this is a 5 ATB cost healing weapon. So if you wanted to get the high boost to your allies, then this is going to take a double cast. 10 ATB for high physical attack. Now, certain characters can use ultimate weapons to raise their physical attack up. You might not necessarily need it to go to high. There's a lot of different ways of looking about this, guys, but I'm just looking at it from a very basic general standpoint because I feel like that is what's most, digestible by the majority of players out there. And I will say that my first glance at this weapon was pretty underwhelming. So then on top of that, when HP is 50% or less at OB1, you get a +1 ATB gauge boost to both of your allies, but not Aerith herself, right? Which is very similar to the Baha Rod. Super similar weapon, right? So let's actually go take a look at the Baha Rod. Sorry about that. We'll go to weapons and character set, Aerith confirm. All right, let's do it. All right, so here we are, the Baha Rod. All right, so I have it at OB7. All right, so let's take it at OB1. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, so it's basically exactly the same. So when HP is 50% or less, +1 ATB gauge to ally, excluding self. All right, so that part is good. This is physical defense low to mid. Wow, this is like a carbon copy, except for the fact that this doesn't go high. It's a physical attack instead, but it's extremely similar. Now, this was a limited weapon. It gives boost magic attack, all allies, boost healing right here, right? So let's go back right here, and let's take a look at this, okay? So let's check out Aerith's weapon. So first of all, guys, the R abilities, okay? 4639. This is a limited weapon, right? It does not come with any magic attack all. It doesn't come with buff duration all. It doesn't come with anything that makes it seem like a limited weapon, except for these stats right here, which are very similar to the Baha Rod. But essentially, I mean, right here, the fact that it's HP 90% or less at OB10. But I mean, it's a little bit tough, guys, but I'm just going to say right here and now that I think that this banner is pretty much an easy skip for most players. If you have the Commodore Wand, if you have the Baha Rod, if you even only have one of them, I think that in most cases this banner is a pretty easy skip. And there's other reasons for that, especially when you look at the stamp card, right? The R abilities being 46/39, that's standard. Nothing crazy here. I would have liked to see 46/52. Give it something that makes it stand out right here. And we have support abilities, physical attack boost on a magic attack weapon. Why do they keep doing this? Oh my gosh, I can't even believe how they keep doing this. This is literally crazy, So physical attack boost on this magic healing weapon. Then we have the single slot Cura heal, which is great to have for sure. And we have a sigil boost right here. So obviously we're going to see circle sigil break in a coming battle or battle ranking or dungeon ranking or something like that. I would have preferred to see the heal all on the Asuna, kind of like the Baha Rod. I feel like that would have been a lot better than a sigil boost. You can use Sid right now to stop the sigil counter. There's a lot of ways to get around sigil boost. I feel like you don't really need this right here. It could have been better. I feel like the heal all Asuna would have given it a little bit more of something, but support abilities to me are mediocre. The R abilities are standard, and the weapon itself, in my opinion, is a bit underwhelming, guys. So let's take a look at it at OB6. 470 magic attack, 308 healing. All right, physical attack is going to go mid to high, all allies, right? Duration 12 seconds with a 54% healing potency right here, and when HP is 70% or less, +1 ATB gauge. So it is what it is. I guess it's a decent weapon that if you don't have the Baha Rod, although seriously one of my favorite things about the Baha Rod is the Asuna all in the third materia slot. I feel like that was like, the frosting on the cake or the cherry on the whatever. I was gonna say the cherry on the pie. But yeah, guys, I think that if you're a newer player, right? If you missed Bahamut Rod, I honestly don't really feel like this is a suitable replacement for the Kamada wand, honestly. The double cast that you need to take the physical attack high is not great. However, if you did miss the Bahamut Rod, it might be a suitable replacement. However, you know, physical defense on that weapon, I feel like is better than the physical attack right here. So, you know, because, you know, this is just going to support a physical focused team, whereas physical defense, a lot of bosses use physical and magic attacks. Like, right, the last Guild War boss uses physical and magic attacks. Granted, the physical attacks were single target, but still, a lot of bosses switch between the two, so there's more versatility in the Bahamut Rod than in this weapon right here. I just find myself a little bit underwhelmed. Now, for me personally, even though I don't think the weapon is that great, I also think it's a great thing that this is skippable, because this is the beginning of a long line of limited banners, guys. We're going to have about 85% limited banners by the end of March for all of 2025. So the first 3 months of 2025 are 80% plus limited banners, which is absolutely ridiculous. I honestly think that Applebot has lost the plot, and I seriously worry about the state of the game if they keep on doing stuff like this. I think that it's going to end up biting them back. It's not going to work out well. I am working on a video putting together, you know, whether it's going to be Dear Square Enix or Dear Applebot. Either way, I think Applebot needs to be called out, and they need to frickin' reel it back. They need to tone it down. You know, in a lot of ways, I feel like Ever Crisis has its strengths, you know? But at the same time, it does often feel like the devs in this game have very little passion for it. It feels like this is a game that is entirely run by investors with a purely economic standpoint going forth, that is looking to profit off of our nostalgia from our childhood, right? And that just hurts a little bit inside for me personally. And so, you know, I would love to see or feel like the devs are psyched on stuff. Like they're really putting the thought into it. The fact that the frickin', you know, what is this right here? What are these things? The support abilities are constantly off and don't make sense. Just feels like this is just so quickly slapped together that it feels like it's missing heart. A lot of times it feels like it's missing heart. And to be honest, guys, the players in this game are the heart of Ever Crisis, right? You guys are the heart of this game. It is not Applebot, and it will never be Applebot, unfortunately. That's just the nature of what it is, but they're a mobile gaming company. I don't think that heart is what leads someone to make a mobile game, right? So it is what it is. That being said, those are my basic thoughts. I think for the vast majority of players, this weapon is a pretty easy skip. If you love Aerith, you love the costume, you got to go for it. Totally understand. But other than that, I think that if you missed the Bahamut Rod, this could be a decent, suitable replacement for the Bahamut Rod. I really wish they would have put the Asuna Ol in there. I feel like then it really would have been a solid replacement for it. The physical attack, not quite as good as the physical defense in my opinion, but still overall pretty solid. So that being said, guys, like I said, this is the beginning of a long run of limited banners. So if you are low on crystals, I do suggest waiting to see what comes out, right? So this ends February 26th. I would at least wait to see what Barret is going to look like. He'll be on February 12th. So you wait like 2 weeks from now and you can see what Barret looks like. Or if you're absolutely positive that you want a weapon like the Bahamut Rod in your kit and you're willing to go for it, then I wish you guys the best of luck on this banner. That being said, that's going to basically conclude my thoughts for this video. Always happy to hear you guys' comments down below. And if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to drop a like and sub to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis comment. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.